but sometimes back to SDE.
SDE looks silent on camera every time we see it pan to him today, so maybe he is just not very vocal at this moment in time. Dragonshire will be the map. If you guys couldn't tell from the picture of the Dragon Knight getting smacked down there. At least I think that's what's happening. Maybe he's getting channeled. I don't have the full picture. How am I supposed to know? And if you want to learn Korean, that's the Dungji is the shrine or shire. Is it shire? Yeah, shire.
It's another word for nest too,
Yeah.
like the bird's nest.
Yeah.
So dragon's nest would be
Yes.
the literal translation from Korean, but original is English. So
Yong is the word for dragon.
yes, the two on top is the battleground. Let's go into it. Of course.
I think that was actually Uther channeling the Dragon Knight in that picture,
Really?
which is
How do you
not
know?
a good idea. You don't want Uther to be your Dragon Knight. You need him to be healing.
There's the Ariel ban.
Okay. I know it's Uther because it's the no, it's the hammer. It's the hammer. You can tell by the hammer. Okay. Vala removed as well. So, where does L5 want to take us for first pick? ETC was what they did on 2.
Has been ETC, but I think this map can be Genji if they want to bring Genji once more for the mobility. And some Dragon Blade actually in game 3 did some damage, but basically nothing. He got no kills, no resets. Genji was not the right source.
He's very weak against Lunara as well. Will be picked here by Tempest this time. I think a lot of this comes from his mobility and his ability to deny unleashes of the Dragon Knight. And they get Uther with him. So, Greymane, Tassadar. In this series, Greymane has been picked twice by L5. Not a single game of Greymane out of Tempest. Not want to play him tonight, doesn't appear. They won't have Uther, and they very likely will not have Rhaegar with this. I think this is the reasonable Tempest ban. They could ban Tyrael, but with ETC already here, a little bit less likely in this meta. Don't really see Tyrael paired with other warriors.
I think Tempest actually wants to take Rhaegar for themselves because they already have a Genji on their side.
You know, remember Tempest's style, though, too, is not really Rhaegar with the Genji because of the because of his low health pool, and Ancestral doesn't heal him too high. But they don't ban it. Let's see if they do just pick it up here. Because if they, you know, the funny thing is, I guess they could just take it away. It's quite strong for them too. So I like your reasoning. Seems like L5 is playing frustrated. I look at Huligan's face here. He's got his ETC, but I could feel frustration. This team should have, by rights, taken the series. They predicted a 3-0, at least SDE did. Publicly predicted the 3-0 win. They find themselves down in the series against match point. SDE is silent now. Hooligan looks frustrated. It's definitely SC doing the draft, you could tell. Will be the Johanna ban.
Which I think is a very, very good one, especially when you have ETC on your team. And in this map, when you make the rotations, you are easy to get caught up, but when you can self-cleanse all the time with your trait, it's a very good tool for yourself to actually survive from all the face checks, especially when ETC is on the other side. The power slide along with another CC will just lock you up. Greymane brings a tons of damage. Maybe later Tassadar will just have the force wall and trap you there.
Could be. I mean, I guess they're trying to decide what their second DPS is going to be here. I don't think they can solo Genji with this. It won't work. I wonder if they're thinking about like a hard pushing hero like a Sergeant Hammer or some other really strong wave clear hero. Time's ticking down. Will they steal the Rhaegar that you predicted? Nope. Going to be Garrosh. So instead of going for the wave clear approach to controlling the 4-man, it's going to be the very aggressive gank potential that Garrosh provides.
This guarantees solo support for Tempest. They cannot just have Genji.
Yep. So what's the next hero? Like, what's the hero they're going to have that will... Because they kind of, with the Garrosh pick, they want to be losing lane a little bit, so they could try to toss into cannon towers and get picks that way. I wonder. I don't really know where this draft is going for them just yet.
You need a Regar here. I don't think you need a Regar. I think you need another type of support. Maybe even a Brightwing for the global.
I think Lucio is quite okay here.
Lucio's a decent choice.
This sound barrier will make it a lot easier for Greymane to get in there and get those resets on the back line. Gonna take Karazim. Remember too, the old way of playing this map would just be to lock Tychus in here. And that's certainly a possibility. He's got great way to deal with ETC's Mosh Pit. Li Ming is another option that could be a great way to deal with the Mosh Pit specifically. That's kind of dominated the ETC games we've been watching so far. What are you leaning towards?
I also think percent damage is somewhat okay, but against a Leoric can be a very questionable thing after 10. That Entomb can be very hard to deal with, but in order to make a picture for Genji so he can get some resets and get some Dragon Blade kills, you need burst damage and sustained damage. That's late game though.
Okay, I understand it, but I don't know if I like it. Because it goes back to what you were saying about the sustained damage that burns through L5, so eventually you end up getting the kills and the resets for Genji. But
game may explode before level 16.
It definitely could, which means that the big pressure in this game is actually going to be on one man alone. It's going to be on Sign. I think Sign will have to get a few kills in the early game. They are going to have to keep all forts up. They cannot lose a Dragon Knight before 10. Or if they do, they will find the game very quickly being taken away from them. The Zebo value, very unlikely to see the light of day. We'll see if they can make it happen and close out the series as we head into Dragonshire for game number 4. Team Tempest hide on Uther. Honkono on Genji. Lockdown on the Zebo. Sign on Garrosh and HA2 on Dahaka.
And L5. Hooligan on ETC. SC on Greymane. Jungha on Leoric. SDE on Tassadar. And Swoi on Karazim.
So, it begins.
If you could pick the last pick for Tempest, did you have a better option other than the Zebo?
I think Tychus is safer. And I think that with Tychus, you don't shove the lane to... Like you can, but you don't have to shove the lane. Because you want to have these pick potentials where you're basically grabbing L5 on your side. The Zebo allows for that and can be very punishing, doing sustained damage on the chase.
Yes.
Also, Zombie Wall could be really good at grabbing somebody who gets tossed, for example. But yeah, whoa, that was a bit of a questionable grab. They're still going to get the pick here, I think.
It was a bait.
He has dash, so John even misses the death grasp there. But yeah, I mean, I think Tychus would have been preferred for me, as Nazebo is just really falling out right now because people know how to deal with him. ETC makes it so much easier, too, to try to get those picks in the early game, to stop him from farming. As you can see right now, Lockdown is just waiting to get these last hits because so far away from he was so far away from the minions because L5 pushed in so deep. But anyway, one way or the other, it's the tool they've chosen, so we can't talk about the past anymore until this game is over. We certainly can then.
I think that's the big picture for both teams. L5, because the Zebo will be having the late game, they have to snowball from the beginning. If Leoric dies like that a few more times, Tempest will be happy and will be smiling for level 20. And Tempest, they have to do whatever it takes and keep their keeps, basically, until the Zebo hits 20. I think that will be the goal they're looking for right now.
Yeah. Good ETC right now, by the way. This is a really cool... Like, they're just trying so hard to kill Nazebo in the early game. But look at Lockdown. He's not willing to take one step forward. literally just waiting to toss the spiders so that he can get the vial stacks. It will hit every single minion. He was not going to miss a single one. Look at this. Not going to miss a single one.
That was not so hard.
But, I mean, he's doing it within range of his cannon towers, though. He's very safe. No reason to rush that.
Sign coming in alone a little too early. Takes a lot of damage. It seems like he will barely survive.
He's got so much armor, but I still think this was a positive trade for L5. They still get the cap. Leoric is actually going to take the Sunshine. Daka does not have Brush Lock. He just used it to go down. Hooligan can squat this. They can try to unleash. I think Tempest misread this really hard. Honkono gets in Jess at the last second. Well, they really misread that. I think they might still get it. Look at that.
Shuriken barely. It just not hit SCE on time.
L5 saw this a mile away. Told ETC to sit on to squat the shrine. Leoric was going up as soon as they knew that that was a failed pick. He was already Wraith walking up with his Royal Focus. Just got it up again already easily. Very well played by L5.
All lane pressured. 3 man up here with the camp ETC on the bottom. They'll take lots of EXP from this first Dragon Knight, it seems like. Ooh, maybe they want to try to take a kill onto Nazebo.
Yeah, I think they're looking for it. They'll be able to queue again. Oligan is looking for the power slide. Lockdown might die here. How does he get out of this one? I don't think he can.
The ETC has Surf Photos, so he can power slide from
there
the
you
side.
Go. Boom.
Not Surfers. Crowd Surfer.
Crowd Surfer.
Yes.
If he had Sulfurous, I'd be like, whoa.
Too much Hearthstone.
You dirty taunt warrior. All right, so.
You dirty druid, or sometimes priest, but.
A big priest, that's me, man.
Into the game.
I'm that kind of bad person. So, they do get the kill. But remember, though, they're going to pick on the Zebo. They're going to get potentially a fort here. They got 2 walls minimum, most of a fort. And this was the one thing we said could not happen if Tempest's draft was going to work.
Yes.
And it's happened. They misread that one moment. They tried to be the aggressors at the mid fort when they are up against a comp that's much better at that. They failed to get the pick. Leoric gets Sunshine, and it all goes downhill from there. And now L5's got to have the faster 10. They kept the fort alive, and this game really isn't over until a keep dies. But L5 is on trajectory right now, exactly the way they'd like to be. They're just ahead enough to where you're worried as a Nazebo fan. You're worried as a Tempest fan, or maybe as a Nazebo fan, if you're just into that kind of thing. You're worried right now.
If you're into that
kind of thing, you know? Like, you're worried for Lockdown here. Because he's not getting the stacks he needed. He's not getting them as fast as he would have liked to. And they may never live to see 20.
That's exactly why they took all the walls down from the beginning. I think L5 is off to a pretty good start. Even though they didn't get too many kills by objective-wise. Even I think all the forts are pretty damaged, and this one's going to be gone for sure.
Yeah, Tempest
That's a start.
Yeah, Tempest can't contest this, especially with the nightcap. Well played Psy Storm here. Level 10 is up. Tassadar considering Force Wall. I think it's okay, actually,
why
to get
not?
Force Wall here. Yeah. Especially, like, if he gets it, then Karazim's going to get 7-sided. That's what they're wondering right now.
Force Wall with an Entomb, with the Mosh. I think that will buy enough time for Greymane to do burst damage.
Okay, here's the Entomb. Not a great one.
Missed.
I think they're only going to take it if they get an opportunity. Oh, look at this Mosh.
Uses the Mosh for the kill.
It's going to be worth it. Force Wall gets locked in. That means 7-sided will likely be locked in as well. Holding on to it until it's needed.
Even more if they get the Dragon Knight.
This is disastrous for Tempest.
Not even 10. They lose another one. I think they can not just take the fort, they can just go down and try to take down the keep wall on the bottom lane. Could not really contest. Still little inches away from 10.
Zebo was just farming stack spot. He's going to rotate safely through the main base and head around now. They have 10. But this is still such a disastrous situation. 45 seconds left for the Dragon Knight to hurt this top fort. Tempest is buying a lot of time. Nazebo's still getting stacks mid, so this could have been worse for them had they not been so proactive at responding. Good drag here as well to actually buy some more time. They will lose this top fort. But if that's all they lose, still okay for them. Leoric is getting soaked. L5 is not all in on this Dragon Knight push, just threatening with Hooligan so that Hooligan protects the Dragon Knight by his positioning.
Hooligan's dropping the logos, dropping the sprays tonight.
He certainly is.
Look at that walk from mid lane to the bottom lane.
Yeah,
in 3 seconds.
And he can come back right now too. Like, okay, L5 just played this very cautiously. They just want to maintain this much of a lead to get the next Dragon Knight where the scaling is enough to get a keep.
No reason to risk, and as I say that they're going to invade. Mosh not back yet, but from from the play you see from Hooligan, it seems like he has Mosh.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, the thing is, Tempest can't necessarily know that his they don't know the exact cooldown unless they're
timing it every single time.
Maybe like one of the smartest people in the universe, like someone's actually counting that down. So if he positions himself like that, Tempest could be like, ooh, he probably has Mosh, we gotta back off. Cool mind game. So, you know, we talk about how, you know, getting the keep is important. Essentially, getting the keep in this game for L5 is almost the same as killing the core. Like, it is everything for Tempest. They cannot lose a keep. If they lose a keep, then the lane pressure is going to be against them all game long. And it won't matter the scaling advantages that Nazeebo gets late game, because very likely we're not going there. All it takes is one Dragon Knight, which is easier to get once you lose the keep. Then the oh my, look at that walk before he goes. So once the keep is down, pressure's always there. It means easier Dragon Knights. Dragon Knights with better scaling going into the mid game. You walk directly to the core. You win the game. That's exactly what L5 is looking for. They're sieging up this keep wall. They're not losing any experience. It's rotating between mid and bot. And if Tempest fumbles one time, they lose the keep.
Let's see. They're doing all the defensive work right now as they're waiting for 13 to actually, if they want to go back, control the shrine later on. Good thing that HG2 is on the Haka. Even if they lose the keep, the pressure will be a little bit less, so because he can take care of it, take care of the wave clear a little bit fast as the Haka on whichever lane they lose the keep later on.
Honkano definitely riskily considering this one, but as soon as you see the capture to the top right, they might have considered it. Ooh, passive play out of Tempest. They're playing almost too safe right now, because if they lose a team fight, they lose the keep. This is going to be the Moon Shrine captured. So Tempest is just rotating mid to stop the unleash.
Are they just giving it? No way.
No, they can't.
No way.
They're not. They're not going to let it happen.
But what can you do after? You have to get kills here.
Ooh, H82 also with the commitment to brush stock, and like you said, with no kills, that's going to be a long cooldown. Nazeebo is actually threatening the bot Moon Shrine, so I don't think that this is going to be very long, this contest. But all the while, Jungha's doing pressure in top.
Ooh, can they?
No,
okay. They had some time. They had a single moment of timing, but it was no one was on the.
Yeah, because Leoric isn't there, it's like kind of weird. Kind of need one-man advantage, and they have one-man disadvantage. But Leoric has got the top keep wall down, and he's going to start working on the keep soon too. He's going to have 2 waves of minions up there, and the Night Camp. So remember, that's basically the core dead. If that keep goes down,
look at the level difference right now. 2.5, 2.7. Make that 2.8.
Someone needs to go deal with this. Like, I know that they're scared to do that because it's going to cost them to potentially lose the Dragon Knight, but okay, they will finally send H82 top to deal with this. In fact, they're going to look for a pick potentially onto the Leoric.
Even use isolation. Does not get the drag. Oh.
Jungha is so good at the jukes. I think he's actually going to get out. He doesn't get the Royal Focus proc, but well, doesn't quite get out of there. Not the worst thing at the end of the day, though. And now this could be a channel. Oh, they get it. L5 is running circles around Tempest quite literally here with this map pick. Controlling it. This has always been L5's best map. And, you know, like, sure, when they were Ballistics, was touted as such as they were better at macro than MVP Black. Is that true anymore? I don't know, but this has always been a comfort map for L5, and they're just showing their prowess of understanding what they can do in the top lane, how many boundaries they can push with the Leoric. This is going to be the keep, and with it, I mean, more than that, could be some picks here. Sign gets very low.
Got taunted, but no damage comes in. Garrosh blows up, and Nazeebo's doing Less than 0 damage.
Hong Kono is Divine Shielded. He's doing a lot of damage, but the Mosh Pit is good. That's a pick. That's keep. And that may just very well be game.
The top keeps already very damaged also.
Will they commit for core here?
They have double support, so I think they can.
Uther's healing up. Lockdown's doing a lot of damage, but he's alone, and that's not an event. It's not going to get any kills because of the double support you mentioned. He uses Ice Block here. It's going to keep him alive for 1 more second. The attack speed slows are really annoying. Jungle will get taken out, but there's the Giants are here. The Siege Giants are going to help do some extra damage to this core. That is going to be game. That's all that L5 needed was those picks there. At the end of the day, better rotational power. Jungha in the top lane with that split push, spreading the attention of Tempest. They sent too many people up there to deal with them. And so as a result, that top moon, or sorry, the bot moon shrine was taken. Dragon Knight was unleashed. And L5 is bringing us to a game 5. To be honest with you, G-Clef, as soon as I saw that Nazebo pick, I felt like all was lost. As Nazebo is just at an abysmal win rate right now. It was very strong at the beginning of Season 2, but now he is.
Someone's not happy.
No.
About game 4.
He was smiling, but it was a painful smile.
It was a painful smile because he knew the camera was on him. That's uncommon for you if you do not know the player there. Well, Nazebo, what do you think? It's not in the meta anymore? Of course, yes. Because
of like the Tychus better.
Especially because of the early snowballs that L5 did exactly right. Lost Leoric at top, I believe, only once in the beginning, Jungha. And after that, he was solid. He was pushing the other lane. The Dragon Knight control was awesome. Decision making, taking all the force down. Then, when Leoric was pushing top, Dragon Knight went to the bottom because the top was pressured anyhow. So going to the opposite side, the Haka had to go to the top and take care of that wave all the time. Great decisions coming out from L5, and I think that rotational work will continue to happen if they choose another big map. And Game 5 can also be Warhead Junction. They also chose it against MVP Black once. I remember that.
They could certainly do that. I'm just looking at the drafts. Something I noticed right away was that ETC was both of the wins for L5. Also, every single team, or there's only 2 teams, right? But every time a team has had first pick, they have won the game. So first pick, 100% win rate in this. So
another one I cannot read, and your handwriting's bad.
Speak for yourself, all right?
What?
All right. Anyway, so just looking at this as well, when you look at the drafting pressure that was given by the first picks, let's look at all 4 first picks. Ariel, ETC, Ariel, ETC. So if the pattern continues, Tempest in the first pick, Ariel will win the series. Like, it's already over.
But L5 changed their strategy. Yeah. They started banning Ariel from game number 4.
But the way that the draft has been controlled has been on L5's side, using the ETC pick into